cast of extras or the singers or the dancers or the rappers or the hippers or the hoppers. And then the baby faces just wander out like fucking putzes. Maybe that's another reason why that they cheer the heels.
That's the ultimate example of Mark booking. The idea that they think Swerve is going to be the cool heel, not realizing that cause and effect in 2023, it actually hurts everything if that's the way you present it.
Well, I thought they were Nana's dancing girls. I guess Swerve had that entrance too. The attention was on Nana and the dancing girls, not Swerve.
I think Nana was the leader of the dancing girls.
Hey!
No, I'm not saying he's one of them. He's like their, what's the main dancer, the choreographer of the dancing girls.
He was the Tony Basil.
That's right.
Of the group. All right.
That's right.
And then people love Swerve, and it's Swerve's house, and they like Swerve, and then to avoid being booed out of the building, apparently, old Hangnail hit the ring with no music or introduction, and they began the fight. And immediately they went to the floor. And within, after they rattled each other off the railing or whatever, within a minute, Hangnail stopped the match completely dead so that he could find a chair and go into the ring, get some duct tape, and then he got a staple gun. And he gets in the ring, and Swerve is having to sell this whole time, and then he puts his hands together and duct tapes Swerve's wrist together. Does Swerve look like a guy to you that Paige would be able to duct tape his fucking hands together if he wasn't letting him?
No.
Okay. So then old Hangnail gets a staple gun and staples Swerve's chest. He's stapling him in the titties. And then he gets a format or a piece of paper or whatever, and he staples it to Swerve's arm. If you're in a fight with a motherfucker, especially if you look like Adam Page and the other motherfucker looks like Swerve Strickland, and you've got a staple gun in your hand, are you going to staple him in the titty, or are you going to draw back and punch him in the bridge of the fucking nose with it?
And it's a metal object.
Yes! That's the idea! He's got brass knuckles on his hand, and he's stapling this motherfucker's arm. The fuck? And then he stapled his face, and Swerve is letting him do it. And because we know that this is all fake, because of the general overall presentation of AEW, people are sitting there going, well, this stupid motherfucker is letting this other stupid motherfucker staple his fucking cheek and his titties.
At that point, somehow he's busted Swerve open also, and Swerve hit a gusher and starts pouring blood. And this is where Paige lays down on his back as Swerve is bending over, bleeding from his head, lays down on his back and opens his mouth so that he can drink Swerve's blood to show how badass he is.
What, you fucking idiot. Just, he's no better than the plumber or the fucking bank-addicted drug robber. He got a barbed wire wrapped chair. But while he was going to find that, because there's one of those lying under the ring at every wrestling event, he keeps stapling Swerve. So Swerve, the heel, hulks up and doesn't sell the stapling, and takes the stapler while it's in Paige's own hand and turns it around and makes the babyface staple his own fucking face. Can I repeat that? He made the babyface holding the staple gun staple his own fucking face. And then Swerve gets the staple gun and just walks around the ring stapling himself over and over while he's laughing about it. So now they started and killed the staple gun in fucking 5 minutes. And then Swerve pulled out a concrete block and put it on the apron of the ring and gave Hangnail a Death Valley driver on the apron on top of the block. And then Swerve gave Hangnail a pile driver on the top edge of the barricade, and then Hangnail got him some color. And then finally Hangnail puts a loop of barbed wire around Swerve and ties his arms, allegedly ties his arms, but he puts the loop around and ties his arms and then body slams him on it. And I wrote, my God, I can't wait for this to be over. But apparently we had to. Then Hangnail gave Swerve a tombstone on the barbed wire chair. And they better hope that nobody watched this at all, or they might as well fold their fucking tent. That was my notation at the time.
It was the biggest crowd in months.
Yeah, well, there you go. So at the exact worst time possible, they draw a crowd to see this fucking abortion. So then Swerve power-bombed the fucking idiot on the barbed wire chair and then hit the double stomp off the top rope on the barbed wire chair on him. And then Swerve brought in a bag of broken glass and poured it on top of Hangnail and then went to the top rope and gave him a 450-degree splash off the top rope. Why would you do that? Why would you willingly hurt yourself to kick the shit out of somebody? It's so fucking stupid and childish. They act like they're in a video game. So then Swerve pulled in a barbed wire covered plywood sheet and put it across two chairs. But somehow they ended up on the top rope and Hangnail gave him the fall away slam through all of that, which he went through it as well, and hopped right up and then gave him a power bomb on the board and then the dead eye on the board where he drops the guy head first. And then he wrapped the barbed wire around Swerve's neck, and as Swerve stood up, because of course after, naturally, what do you do after you've been fall away slammed off the top rope through a board with barbed wire stuck between two chairs and then power bombed and then dead-eyed? But you stagger up. Fucking moron. And then he hit the buckshot lariat on Swerve with the wire around Swerve's neck. And you'll never guess what happened, Brian. Swerve was almost counted out. But fortunately, Nana pulled him to the floor where he pulled him out and Swerve just stood up on his feet. After all of that, he's like, oh, fuck, I've got barbed wire around my neck. And then suddenly, Brian Cage, that goddamn fucking giant meat whistle, fucking just hits the ring out of nowhere and attacks Page right in front of the referee and starts kicking the shit out of him. Well, if that's okay, why did he wait till Swerve almost bled to death? So Cage, it wasn't like Cage interfered and jumped out. He just takes over the match. And then he gives Page a power bomb and a buckle bomb, but Page gets the barbed wire after all of those moves and gets up and beats Cage up with the barbed wire. And then here comes Nana. And Nana hits Page with a chair, and Page bows up, which you should when the manager uses a gimmick at some point. That's an acceptable spot. Of course, not from a corpse, because Page should have been dead 5 times already. But then he takes Nana out on the apron and gives him the dead eye off the apron through the fucking table. Then, as he's done that to Nana, Swerve gets the fake fucking cinder block and breaks it over Page's head from behind. And it just it explodes into powder. It looks like the old manager threw the powder spot. You can't do that to a real cinder block with a sledgehammer. But he hung Page by the neck until the referee counted him out to 10. Technically, Page was still on his feet. And imagine, Brian, I'll leave you with this one. Imagine if that visual had been reversed and the white cowboy from Virginia had been pulling that chain around the neck of the black rapper from Seattle or wherever he's from up there.
No, they could never do that.
Well, what's the goddamn difference? You're doing a lynching on goddamn television.